Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And today we've got a combination that one of you guys suggested that we try out because you said it does well, but I kind of honestly have my doubts about it coming into it. These shells are not known to be very impressive performers, and I really don't think this choke combo is going to help them out any significant amount, but who knows. It's a combination I have, so we might as well bring it out here and test it just to see what happens. But as for the shells we've got today, I brought out some more of the Remington Premier Magnum Turkey loads, but these ones are the 12 gauge 3.5 inch 2 ounce payload of 5-shot, moving about 1300 feet per second. We've tried a number of different Remington loads on the channel now, the nitros, the premiers, TSS lead, doesn't really matter. Remington and their turkey loads just are not very impressive performers across the board, and these are really no different. But who knows, maybe today's choke is the magical combination for them. But as for today's setup, I brought out the Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag. It's got a 28-inch barrel on it, but for that choke, we've got the Kicks Gobblin Thunder 680 construction. This choke in of itself has been a fantastic performer for us with both turkey loads and buckshot loads actually as well. So we know it has good potential, but I don't know if it's really going to be enough to help these shells out any, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. But as for today's test, everything is the same as usual. The turkey target's at 40 yards, and I've got the chronograph so we can get our velocity from the shells. So let's get you guys a view of that target and see if this might be the magical setup combination that these Remington Premier Mag 5s actually like. I have my doubts, but let's take our shot and see what happens. Alright, that shell gave us 1243 through the chrono. The boss claim is 1300, so we are a little bit below that claim, but I honestly prefer to be a little bit below 1300 with a lead shell like that anyway. So I would say that's a perfectly fine velocity for these. But what kind of a pattern did that combo give us down there at 40? Let's go check it out and see. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and I gotta say, it is decent at best, really. Do we have a dead bird here? Yes, we do. There's a couple right up through the brain there, and a few more down the spine, so yep, you would have absolutely gotten that turkey. But I also think we might have favored a touch to the left, and now that I'm thinking about it, I believe I remember that particular Kicks choke tending to favor off to the left a little bit, so that might be on me on this one. Either way, what we see here is an okay pattern. I definitely would not call it a great pattern, but it might be potentially the best pattern we've seen from these Remington 3.5 inch Premier Mags, and that's really not saying a whole lot because we have yet to see anything actually impressive out of them from what I can remember. So moving in here and looking at our core, I will go ahead and pop up a 10-inch circle equivalent in editing so you guys can see what the core actually looks like, and it is more than good enough to get you a turkey out at 40 yards with it all day long. But it's definitely not anything super tight or super hot. It does have a few little strings in it, so it's not the most perfectly even pattern. And around the edges, we definitely open it up a little bit. We get a lot of little sporadic stuff around those edges there. A number of flyers as well. There's several up there at the top, and especially all the way down here at the bottom, a bunch of little stringy stuff down there. But the main area of the pattern right there isn't too bad necessarily. It is plenty good enough to take on a 40-yard turkey hunt with it. Is it a combo that I would preferably use? Probably not. And that's kind of been the case with these Remington shells across the board, no matter which one we've tested through whatever combination. They've always technically been good enough, but never anything that I would actually call impressive or that I would ideally want to just go out and switch to and use on my hunts. So as for that Kicks 680 being the magical combination for these, I am still kind of on the fence about that. Did it help them out a little bit and get us a little bit better pattern out of them? Yes, I do think that was the case, but was it the magical savior to actually get these to pattern really nicely? I don't believe that's the case. So I would say a little bit of a mixed bag here today. It's not a horrible pattern, but it's nothing great either. I think that it pretty well speaks for itself. It would be usable if you wanted to or needed to use it, but I don't think a lot of us are going to run out and go try and get this combination to use either. It's just not super impressive, especially when you can get a Longbeard XR shell right next to it on the exact same shelf that is going to way outperform that right there, hands down. So still nothing super impressive from a Remington shell today. And here's the wad from that shell, very standard Remington equipment, but as you can see, it looks like it was run over by a lawnmower. It is definitely very chewed up, but there's nothing stuck down in there. But this is pretty common for what this combination is. These Remington wads are pretty thin, so they get banged up easily. Plus, Kicks chokes typically do this to most wads, so it's nothing unusual or out of the ordinary. It looks pretty much how I would expect it to, even if it is a little bit on the chewed up side. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that combination right there? I would say it is very middle of the road at best. It's an okay pattern. It's not horrible. It's not the worst we've seen from these Remington shells, but I definitely would not say it's anything impressive either. I do think that Kicks 680 did help these out a little bit and give us a little bit more of a condensed pattern than we typically see, but I don't think it was the magical savior for it either. So if anything, that's probably about what I expected to see coming into it. But leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Remington Premier Magnum shells? And if so, what kind of results have you seen from them? Would you hunt with that combination, or is it still just a little bit too broad or all over the place for you? And what other combinations of shell and choke do you want to see us try with some of those Remington turkey loads or that Kicks 680 choke? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description down below if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.